So at this point, I'd like to thank Dean and introduce James Parrott, who is the Deputy Director and the Chief Economist at the Fiscal Policy Institute in New York, former Chief Economist for Economic Policy Office under Mayor David Dinkins, and longtime friend of the Professional Staff Congress, and also a panelist at the first PSC Social Safety Net Forum. So James.
There's always tension when I talk about the economy between talking about how good it is versus how it's failing us. And I have to talk about how good it is because there are people who say, because of New York's taxes are so high, we have a pathetic economy, we have no job growth, and so on. Well, folks, if you look at the numbers on GDP or personal income growth in New York State and New York City in the last few years, we've done better than most places in the country. With our high taxes and with the imposition of a millionaire's tax surcharge that's been in place since 2009, we're doing better than most places. So I have to tell that story to many reporters to get across the point that our tax burden is not quite as harmful as what some people would have us believe. But on the other hand, you know, I spend a lot of time talking about how the economy is failing us. It's true, we have better than average growth in the total economy and income, but we do a pretty pitiful job of sharing that growth. We've had growth that hasn't been matched by growth in median wages or the wages for the typical person, and we've seen poverty continue to rise. Let me say quickly a few words about what I see as a four-part budget agenda for New York City. I think we can use the city budget to address, we can't fix the income polarization problem, but we need to address it, and we should evaluate most city budget as well as other city policy decisions with an eye toward whether or not, you know, it moves us forward in terms of reducing income inequality or leaves us worse off. And reducing poverty is an important way to do that. We should use city resources more strategically to invest in human and physical capital and promote broadly shared prosperity. We should take the $3 billion in business tax credits, reevaluate whether or not those are producing anything valuable, and reallocate those resources to increasing wages at the low end of the labor market and supporting businesses that pay living wages. We should make our tax structure more progressive. Here's a chart that relates the share of income that various income groups receive with the share of taxes. So where the blue bar is higher, the dark blue bar is higher than the light blue bar, then that income group is paying more than its share of income in city personal income, residential property, and sales taxes. You'll notice the group on the far right, the top 1%, is underpaying their taxes. They have 25%. They have 33% of the income. This is in 2010, but are only paying 25% of the taxes. You know, we have about 300,000 union represented workers who work for New York City or the MTA or Health and Hospitals. Not one of them has a current contract, because the mayor, sort of pointing to the governor saying he froze wages, I expect the same thing here, is not going to agree to any increase. So that means that this mayor is leaving, very recklessly, a huge budget burden for the next administration to deal with. I think it can be addressed, but only in conjunction with unions. But the unions also, for their part, need to broaden their perspective. They need to have an approach to city policy that does something about the low-wage labor market, that does something about the people on poverty. We also need to have city officials who are willing to talk about how to make the tax system more progressive. You know, I wouldn't lead with a progressive tax increase in order to settle the contracts, but I think you can do both of those if it's part of a broader set of policies that make New York City a fairer place and a more productive economy with better public services. Thank you.